In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace the coolant bleed line on your Volvo XC90 or any late model Volvo. This is a 2018, but it applies to pretty much every Volvo built after 2016. Apparently, this is a common issue. I received a warning on the dashboard that I had low coolant level. It did start into steam, and when I looked inside the engine bay, I had a leak. You can see the coolant pooled down there on the bottom, and I traced it back to this little bleed line. There's a splitter here that you can see on the new part. It broke, so now I'm going to have to replace it, and it's pretty easy to replace. Luckily, it's on the top of the motor. I have seen other videos out there that showed some larger lines that had cracked or broken, but I got lucky. It's only this line, and I'll show you how to replace it. There is the part number. Most of the Volvo dealers keep it in stock. You can buy it on Amazon. I've seen it there. A link to the product is above and also below. But before we get started, I hope you like and subscribe, and let's get after it. To gain access to the bleed line, what I need to do is remove this intake box. It's pretty easy. Everything's on top. Just take care and not to drop a screw. You're going to need a T25 to remove the bolts around the airbox intake like I'm doing now. I think there's 6 of them. Take this clip and disconnect the sensor. Might you need to use a small screwdriver to get that in there. Get that. Next thing I'm going to do is loosen this screw up here. All right, got that loosened up. Then just give it a little twist to loosen or break that seal, and then you'll see that it will come off. This sensor is zip tied here. So what I'm going to do is just set this over here like that. Good time to change your air filter and clean in here. If you're going to do this job, I just changed this air filter. It looks good shape. Now that I have the air box out of the way, you can see this is the bleed tube. This is the connection that I need to make. And the other connection is up here. So I do have to move it underneath this piece here. And you can see the intake. I'm going to go ahead and put a cloth in there just to make sure nothing drops in there. We'll go ahead and remove the old one and install the new one. So you can see this configuration's just like that. Here is the top up here. This is the lower section, and then down here. This is going to be interesting routing around, but let's see how we do. Go ahead and remove this top by pinching this. Let's see how this connection is. Looks like it's just a pinch fitting and then snaps on. Go ahead and do that. All right, this thing's being a little trickier than I thought, so I'm pinching the tabs. Then I might have to use a screwdriver to pull it off this manifold. The next connection's down here. I'm gonna unsnap it from this support, but the connector is still on here. That's this one here. All right, on these, there's a little clip on here, and what you want to do is remove that. You can use a little screwdriver or a pick like this, and you pull this metal retention clip out. That's what retains it on the cap. So go ahead and do that. Move that out of there. I'm going to do the same thing down here. Looks like you have to do it on both of these. You can see in here, that little clip. I'm going to pull that little clip out, and that's what will retain that cap on that piece. After I remove that clip, Then I pulled the pliers and removed it. You can see pull the clip up. It does retain in there, so it's nice that it doesn't fall in the engine bay. And now I just have to do this last one that's down in here. Okay, so I'm going to use a screwdriver. I'm going to push this tab off. There's that little tab. And now that should be free to be twisted off. All right, there we have it. We have everything removed. This is what's left of the hose that came out. You can see where it fractured here. It just got real brittle at this Y, and some of these fittings cracked also due to the heat in the engine bay. It's difficult to route the new hose underneath the motor, so what I'm going to have to do is remove the box here. I'm going to push up on this tab and then the tab in the corner, and this just pops right out. I run into a little issue because it has to route under this vacuum pump, which is a nightmare because of the slot in here. Now, if it came in two pieces, they really should sell it so it snaps in here and then you could heat shrink it. That would make it a lot better. So you could do one of two things. Cut this and then splice in a little piece. That would make it super easy to install like this. You could slide it down. And then it comes out over down here, no problem, splice it in, no issues. But since this is becoming a chore, I'm going to have to route it on this side of the vacuum pump. But in order to do so, it's really tight here. So I have this crowbar here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to route this hose under this like that. Bring it up. This is where having the air box out will help. Now I'm going to bring this up like this. I'm going to just kind of set this up here like that. But in order to get it by the vacuum pump, it's just too tight to the intake manifold, which is annoying. So I'm going to go ahead and put this crowbar on here and just open this up so I could slide this behind there just by that bolt head. There, got it slid in there by that bolt head. This would have to go on like this. And this one and I have to somehow turn over like that to get this engaged. Maybe to see how it's routed, you can see up at the top, it's routed down through there, very close to the original, but I had to go on the outside of the vacuum pump between the air box here, down, and you can see I come around like this, and then it connects in. This one is in good shape. This is a little tight. So okay, to relieve the tension on the hose, what I did was I used this heat gun, and I'm going to hit this with some heat just so it takes the tension off the hoses because they're pretty rigid. I put a screwdriver in there to give it some distance or standoff. Then what I'm going to do is let that cool for a good 15-20 minutes. Then I'll come back and check it to make sure that the tension has been relieved. Before I reinstall the airbox, I want to give you one final look. I put some high temperature electrical tape on here to help prevent any wear or fretting against the hardware bolts, but everything looks pretty good. The hose doesn't feel as tensioned as before because I hit it with the heat gun to relieve some of the tension in the line. Everything looks good. So I'll go ahead and give that a test once I install the airbox. Before starting the car, make sure you check the fluid level. To check the fluid level, you're going to remove this piece here, and you're going to see the cap there. You're going to want to use a jug, and you're going to go ahead and fill the reservoir until the max level that you see in there. All right, we're going to check out what we've done. The engine's been running for a few minutes now. There's some residual smoke or steam from water or the excess coolant that was on the exhaust, but it's minimized and everything looks good. There's no leaks. There's no error messages on the dash. So I'm going to go ahead and take this for a ride and see just how well it does. After going for a 5-mile ride, everything looks good. The steam has dissipated as the excess coolant that spilled over has burned off, and everything looks good. I hope that you liked this video. Subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions, please leave in the comments, and thanks for watching.